we are talking about the possibility of the Switch 2 launch window just getting insane, according to our very own podcast guest, Paul Gale. So, Paul Gale, if you want to go ahead and take it away.
What is going on, Paul?
Yeah.
Is this a leak?
I wouldn't call it a leak, but I'll tell you that it's an update of what I told Nate about a year ago.
An exciting update.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk on what he said a year ago.
Is this a rumor plus?
This is from good news to better news because it goes from one source to a few, basically confirming the same thing that development going into the Nintendo Switch successor is more promising than development was going into Nintendo Switch. So you can expect, if a few developers, and I won't even say the exact number, but more than two, a few begins at 3.
A few is more than 2. Yep.
So we'll just say if a few developers are having earlier access, earlier want to be developing for this system, that speaks well to the faith that they have in it. Like I said before, and this one was like a year ago, which was Wii U left a little bit of a bad taste in some studios' mouths. So the anticipation wasn't high for Nintendo Switch or NX as it was at the time. Games cost a lot. It costs a lot to port. It costs a lot to have different teams. And then if these sales aren't lasting, where's the incentive? If you're going to get even if you're going to get like a high selling system, but Nintendo's own first party software dominates too much, that could be a lack of incentive in a third party being on board. Like, okay, who cares if it sells 100 million if you're delivering all these bangers and there's no room for us? Then it comes back to like the old Nintendo stereotype. People don't buy Nintendo systems to play third parties. They buy it for Nintendo games. Third parties don't sell well on those. This generation, we saw it a little bit different with Nintendo Switch. The pacing was very good from Nintendo, but they left room all throughout the 7 years for third parties to shine. And you saw a lot of third-party games find a lot of success. I mean, one off the top of the dome, Resident Evil 6, a 7-year-old game available for years, sold 1 million copies on Nintendo Switch, and it was only available digitally. Wow, 1 million for an old third-party game from an older era? And that's just one example of many. 69, chat, you know what's up. Games that are Nintendo first party only cracked 1 million or above. That's not the third party. It goes way past 69. Ultra Street Fighter 2, over 1 million. People are like, really? That? Yeah. So anyways, my point in this is, I learned before from a developer that the anticipation and the drive to want to work with Nintendo Switch's successors dev kit is higher and more promising than it was going into Nintendo Switch. And like this part I will say publicly, because this part I've said before, it was at E3 2017. I went to a lot of developers' booths. So, I mean, I guess you could look back at E3 2017 and look at who was there at the show entirety, and then you could say, well, it was probably one of those 150 developers, and then you could be like, you could say it was one of those. There were
I'm going to do that, right?
There were like, I narrowed it down to these 148. How come?
And there's only like few hundred people working for each company. So I mean,
we're narrowing this down.
Several thousand people you can reach out to.
And I asked, because Nintendo Switch was new. Don't forget, like 17, we were already in love with Nintendo Switch for 3 months, but it was barely out for 3 months. We liked it starting in October at that presentation. We liked it more in January at the big event, but it was only in our hands for 3 months. And here I'm talking with several developers behind the scenes. How come so-and-so isn't on Nintendo Switch? And I got different comments of, we didn't think it was going to be that successful. Plans are to eventually port this. It's a little bit difficult when the horsepower isn't there, but Could it be done? Yeah. Could it have been done earlier? Also, yeah. And then there also became a little bit of a distinguishing part later on that some developers intentionally didn't have games day and date. Like as the generation started to unroll, well, how come certain games came out later? The strategy was known. Now that it's successful, people could double dip. Oh, so that was a plan in some cases where it could be day and date, but if we release them differently, they can.
All these
And
details are narrowing down the choices.
but now you fast forward a year from when a year-ish from when I first told Nate this, and I put it up on Twitter too. Like I made it before X, so it was public, but I think I told Nate ahead of time.
Yeah, like a couple days before.
Now one has become a few. So that means within that launch window, I don't know what is a launch window. I think a year is too big to be a launch window. But I think 9 months.
Yeah, Switch was 9 months. That's what
I think 9 months is a launch window. But
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
But then again,
Could
like
be
if
one of those big,
if
tall, giant windows, that you can't reach the top. You need like a giant ladder for.
If a system comes out in November, though, do you really consider the launch window all the way up until August? Because that's 9 months. See, it's a weird number. 9 isn't definitive. For Nintendo Switch, 9 worked because it came out so early in the year that you could say, man, the launch window was those first 9.5 months. But when a system comes out November 15th, its first 9.5 months goes until like August 28th. That's a weird time to close it off, right? Why not go to September 30th?
It's coming out in March anyway, so there you go.
I mean,
is it coming out in March?
I want it to come out March 7th because as long as it comes out March 4th or later, it beats the Xbox 360 record as the longest console ever before its successor came out. An Xbox 360
came out a year early.
Yeah,
2005.
Yeah.
Xbox 360 lasted exactly 8 years to the date till Xbox One. And Nintendo Switch passed Famicom's record, but now it only has to come out one day after March 3rd, and it beats Xbox 360's record. So I'm going for March 7th. I'm going personally for like no later than a mid-October small reveal. Nothing too big to get the masses wild because you don't want to eat into your holidays. And no later than, probably no sooner than a March 7th release. That's my small window. I would love to see it this month. I would love to see it next month in September during a direct, but
you gotta be a little careful.
Wait. So when do you think it's getting revealed?
What? I think no later than like mid-October.
Yeah.
No later.
No
so
later.
It could be sooner.
So I think it gets shown off before mid-October. I think before October 20th we see it.
Oh, is this informed speculation?
No, not this one.
Clarify, you're being quoted by websites right now.
This is just looking at Nintendo's 2016, I think October 19th, 20th drop.
Just normal speculation.
So I'm just going with normal speculation, but it's harder to predict this time because last time, not to say they could care less, but they could care less if they impacted Wii U sales and how big this got because they weren't going to sell 7 million copies of Wii U. This quarter of this very precious October 1st through December 31st, Nintendo is probably going to sell around 6.3 million units.
Yeah, but they still have to also worry about the 3DS at that time, right?
Yeah.
They had 3DS sales. They had a sinking Wii U. So who cares if they had this beautiful thing in October? Who cares if it got so hyped that no one bought Wii U? No one was going to buy it anyways. And I liked my Wii U. I'm not trying to trash on it. Just reality was it was going to sell a few 100,000 or a couple 100,000. Big whoop. Nintendo Switch still can sell 6.3 million this holiday season. So if they have this October 20th reveal, my own speculation, or whenever, maybe a price drop at that time, or maybe very attractive bundles at time so they don't cannibalize sales. They can still have a good November, December, January, and then a similar rollout. But March 31st is the end of the quarter. They could show the thing off March 7th and release it freaking November and make the world say, oh no, I gotta wait till November 2025 to buy this thing. Totally possible.
That would
It
be-
is possible.
That would mean a 5th year of declining sales. Just
Oh,
saying.
Also,
I don't
But
I
you
don't
know
know
what?
I
Look at
gotta-
this. Sony just said in the last 3 months they sold 2.4 million PlayStation 5s on their 3-year, 4-month-old system. And Nintendo Switch sold 2.1 million, a measly 300,000 less.
Yeah.
And it's at 7 years and 3 months. So, and what's to say about Xbox Series and how much it sold in the last 3
I
months?
have a little bit of a theory on that though. I kind of feel
a weakening Nintendo Switch is still like right there up with the rest of Gen 9.
so about that though. I think that's a little. I think I've seen people talk about it, and I think people are being misled a little bit because I think what's going on right now is that this is a down year for both Nintendo and Sony. Because Sony has the PS5 Pro coming, that's going to be a little bit of their refresh. They're not going hard on software this year. So
They haven't yet.
well,
Sorry.
reportedly they have no big games this year, right?
Yeah.
No big games, right?
no
But
big sequel games, I guess.
so my point is simply that they're 2.4. That's because they're not really going at it right now. The same way Nintendo's not really going at it. That quarter was remake, remaster, City, right? And Endless Ocean Luminous, which no one cared about. So, if you don't try, that's what happens. So I think it goes for both of them. And maybe we're putting a little bit too much stock into it 3 versus 7 years. Although I still think there's something to be said there. It does speak to just the staying power of the Switch. But
to me, it speaks to how hard it is to sell 140 million units. Only 3 systems in the history have ever done it. That's it. 3. The Sony's only ever done it once. So like it's very hard.
I don't think Sony can really do it again because they're not going to have a DVD player.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I kind of think like, and this isn't to that. By the way, Sony's platform is great. I want to be clear here. This isn't a console war thing. But just based on how all their systems have performed outside of the PlayStation 2, which people gotta admit it blew up because of the damn DVD player.
I worked at EB Games. I was 17 in October of 2000. I was selling PS2s, and the vast majority at that time, a DVD player that played games. It wasn't until a couple of years in.
I worked at EB Games in 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was October 2000 through May of 2001. Yeah.
But this
awesome.
is what's so crazy about the PS2. The PS2 as a DVD player was cheaper than other DVD players on the market. And it also played games.
Yeah, and coming off of the highly successful PlayStation that hit 100 million.
And they had momentum. It was a better deal than everything else on the market from a DVD player perspective. There was no way they weren't going to do extremely well.
Don't forget, it was also a CD player.
Yeah.
That was actually a big deal too.
Yeah, people played a lot.
If you didn't have a PlayStation, it played PlayStation games.
Yeah.
So it was backwards compatible. It played CDs, it played movies, and it was $300 when DVD players at Best Buy were like $350.
Yeah.
Basically, PS2 has the best lineup of all time.
It was the first.
We didn't have downloadable demos yet, so you had Pizza Hut demos and Gaming Magazine demos.
The
magazines,
demos, baby.
Yeah, those are the best.
I mentioned pizza. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry too. I haven't ate in 7 hours.
I'm getting a burrito. I'm not joking.
It's fine. Go get a burrito.
PS2 was the first backwards compatible home console, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because it was.
We had Game Boy that was backwards, Game Boy Color, and then DS and yada yada.
But I think home consoles.
For home console, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a game changer for the market too. That shouldn't. People got to understand that back then that was a huge deal that you could play your old games.
Yeah, on PS1.
Yeah, that was a really big deal back then. They had so many unique selling points.
Yeah.
On top of the DVD, of course.
But I look at the rest of the PlayStation sales and I kind of be like, well, PlayStation 4 hit 114, 117. Kind of feel like that's right around the cap of what Sony can kind of hit. Maybe 120. But because all their systems are iterative. So you're kind of just hitting on that same audience over and over. And you know what? That's fine. Like Nintendo's probably about to release an iterative system here and hit on the same audience as Switch. It just so happens that audience is a little bit larger. Is that going to make a difference? I don't know. We don't know if they can repeat 140 mil plus again. That could be a unique thing that happened because COVID also played a role and also it kind of extended the life a little bit. Because maybe 2019 would have been the peak year instead of 2020. We don't know.
I think without COVID, I saw the trajectory going 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Like I think Nintendo Switch would have still sold, but instead of 2020 being the peak, 2020 would have been a little bit less, yet more than 19. 2021 would have been a little bit more than 20, but you know what I mean? Like that would have been the curve. And that's why
would have chopped like 10 million in sales off.
That's why we see such a long it didn't sell necessarily more because of COVID, but more in a year because of COVID. So it still would have gone like this a little bit more, like the triangle, the bell curve, the reverse bell curve, however you want to look at it. Like the tail would have still been nice because look at the percentage drops. That's why I was as accurate as I was. Like October, September last year, I said Nintendo Switch probably the next fiscal year is going to sell 12 million. Fast forward 6 months later, what did Nintendo say? 13.5. How was I so close? Well, I didn't know that a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was definitively going to come out. I didn't know yet about Mario and Luigi Brothership or Zelda Echoes or a new thing. But like just based off of the stats, the analysts that, well, me analyzing it, I should say, that's what it was. And I was close enough to 13.5. So they knew something I didn't, obviously. It's going to be fine. So when people are like, oh man, there's no way it's going to hit 160 now, it won't hit 160 only if Nintendo doesn't want it to. And it's a weird thought, but that means they would have to shut down their manufacturing lines and say, we're freeing up all lines to make more Nintendo Switch 2s. But I don't think that's the case because there's still some profit margin to make on base Nintendo Switches. There still is a demographic out there that doesn't own the system yet. If they could get Nintendo Switch into India, that's another 1.5 billion people that don't have access. In China, that's a slow rollout. If they could get more in there,
India would be huge.
there's more opportunities.
They're big gamers out there too.
I also think that like when you consider that no matter what, let's say there's no price cut this year, but whenever Switch 2 comes out, there's going to be a price cut. There will be, and that would make Switch their budget entry point. So why wouldn't they just keep selling it as long as I think that it's going to sell well for a while. When I say well, guys, I'm not talking about like now, like 13.5 million. Yeah, they'll never have a year of 13.5 million with Switch again. But can they realistically? Let's say Switch 2 was a March release. Could Switch end up selling 5 million next fiscal year? Sure. Price cut. Still got a couple big games coming. Pokemon, Metroid, absolutely. So, and then you go, okay, well, when are they going to stop making games for it? Well, I don't know. They kept making games for 3DS like 3 years into Switch. It's a big audience. It takes time to bring that audience over. So, yeah, they could maybe eke out another 5. So if you look at their sales now, they're on their path. They're literally on their projections. Like people, someone I saw in the chat earlier wanted us to like make this a topic. You better be talking about the decline in Nintendo Switch sales. And I just sat there. I'm like, okay, you mean the fact that Tears of the Kingdom doesn't exist this year? Because that's all that was. Nintendo literally projected 13.5 million. And after this fiscal report, are projecting 13.5 million, which means all they did is hit exactly what they thought they were going to hit. They did it. They're not doing bad. They literally told us at the beginning of this year, we're selling 13.5. It's a little ambitious, but we're selling 13.5. First fiscal report comes out, no adjustment. That means that they are on track. This is exactly what they knew would happen.
Yeah. It's going to go like 2.6, 6.3, 2.6. That plus 2.1, boom, 13.5. Then you're looking at 154.82 million by March 31st. Now you have passed DS by 800,000, and you are like 600,000 away from Sony's official 155 million record, but still several million away from the 157.68 or the 160. But Yeah, like Nate said, it's not going to hit 13.5 again, but it could do 6, 5, 4.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1, 1, 1, 500,000. Like that's how it goes.
Yep.
If they hit their projections like they still are on target for, guys, they only got to sell like 7 million more over the next few years to definitively be the best-selling system of all time. That's perfectly reasonable since they'll probably still sell Switch for at least an additional 3 years. It's not crazy to think they could eke out a few million each year after Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah.
With the price cut. Still, by the way, next year. That's one reason I think Switch will still sell well next year, even if Switch 2 does come out early, is just because Pokemon Legends and Metroid Prime 4 are coming to Switch.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening. Price cuts are going to be there. It's going to be a cheap entry point to play these 2 mega games.
Mm-hmm.
I especially for like Metroid fans that maybe been waiting that long. You never know. I think it's going to help with that. But I have to ask this question because he said, "Hey, look," I was like, "All right, this is not informed speculation. I am speculating that by middle of October. I think before then." Cool. We all speculate. That's like one of the funnest things we do on the internet here and on making content as we put our guesses out there. But I didn't clarify this, and I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. But there's a little birdie out there, another journalist who has said that his third-party sources have indicated the system's coming out in March. Now, right now, he's like the only person that's really like planting their flag in it, and he hasn't budged, and he's still around, and he's being consistent about it. Now, he has no idea when it's being revealed. He has made no qualms about it. I don't know if any third-party company at this point truly knows exactly when Nintendo's revealing. They might know rough release timing because, again, they got to plan their stuff around it. But I don't know if anyone besides, unless you're one of the third parties in the trailer, in the reveal. I don't know if you really know when it's going to be revealed.
Even then, they might not know.
Yeah, and even then, they might not know. Like, that's the thing. It doesn't really matter. What matters is when does your game come out. But, you said March 7th because that's just a really cool number. Right? It's a cool number to pass 360, still come out in March. But you also have some little third-party birdies. Was March in general just more speculation or informed speculation that you hedged your bet and said, well, the Nintendo said this, so it could be revealed in March and come in October next year, but I think it's March.
Paul Gale, do you want to go for a jog?
I gotta ask the hard questions. They'll never let me go if I don't ask the hard questions.
It helps that I don't know when different companies' specific games are coming out necessarily. That I cannot.
So carefully. Great.
It helps that I don't know when.
I'm just guessing, and now he's just like.
It helps that I don't know when specific games from companies are coming out. That my opinion isn't like, well, I know that this game is technically scheduled for this quarter or this month or this date. So I think Nintendo Switch's successor would fall in line nicely with this game coming out in this quarter. So it launches alongside. So I will say that is just that March 7th is just on me. I might not have even said that if I knew more than I did, because if I knew more than I did, and I don't even want to say a game now because now it's risky business. But if I said, oh, I think Nintendo Switch is going to come out on June 15th because so and so game is coming out on June 15th. Oh, so I just made that up. So don't even read into it. What's June 15th?
Yeah. He's giving me why like he was dancing carefully because like, I don't know.
The date is a total guess just because the number is cool and it kind of makes sense. But honestly, like I said, I could see the thing coming out in June. And the reason for that is a month like March, where it's the end of a quarter, that you end a quarter strong. It hasn't been done since the Japanese N64, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think a DS Lite came out like June 11th, maybe. But that was a revision sort of model. there's different ways you could release the thing too close to the new year, like January, February, and rub a lot of holiday people the wrong way because I wish I waited a couple of months. You know what I mean? But if you got it over the holidays with a deal, knowing that the successor was out, then you had a little bit more informative an opinion.
Yep.
Oh, I could buy a Nintendo Switch Lite and get into this awesome ecosystem that I haven't been a part of for only $150 instead of buy this $400 machine in 2 months. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Oh, I could buy the base Switch for, $250 right now instead of $400. Yeah, good enough. There's a lot of people like that. So there's such a fine line this time around between too early and too late. Too late, you hurt people's feelings. Too early, you cannibalize sales, and you're eating into successful systems. So that's why I could see maybe they don't show it off until February and it comes out in June. Then you don't really hurt anybody's feelings. Like, oh, okay,
My
it was
feelings will be hurt.
I mean, maybe some people's will hurt. Like, I gotta wait another 6 months. What the heck?
If it doesn't come out in March,
I've been on mind that anyone buying a Switch this holiday, I don't think their feelings could be hurt. One, there's already been a public announcement the successor is coming. Like Nintendo's not even hiding it. They announced it's coming publicly, and it's been reported everywhere. Now I understand not everyone follows gaming websites, or even like it was reported on CNN and all these, like it went mainstream because it's official. It's from Nintendo. But even if you didn't even hear, bottom line is it's year 8. If you're someone buying a Switch in year 8, you ain't worried about launch of Switch 2 because you're not going to buy Switch 2 at launch. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be $400. Games might be $70 a pop. Probably not really worrying about getting that system anytime soon if you're buying a Switch right now anyways. You're looking to get in cheap, maybe at a nice bundle when Nintendo games are kind of cheap. Some games are dropped some games have dropped a lot of. Nintendo this year is doing what people say they don't do. They're dropping prices on games. Their games are frequently $45. Frequently. Even the games that came out last year are frequently dropping to $45 all the time. Now, it could just be retailers, but Nintendo's had official digital sales. So I kind of just look at it as Nintendo knows what they're doing. They got to get things cheap because that's the selling point this holiday. Yeah, we got a couple games, a couple new ones. Those will be full price. We got to we're hitting the budget people now. We want to hit the budget. And if you're picking up a Switch this holiday, I think it's going to be price cut. And I think when you're looking at buying, say, a Switch OLED for $250, you ain't even worrying what Switch 2 is at $400. That just sounds like too much money to be buying my kid this holiday, anyways.
And you mentioned exactly. I don't want to hog the sales talk too much and stuff like that, but you mentioned something important. Pokemon, it's so big that it transcends one audience, right? There's older gamers that have grown up with it. It's still around. We're in our late 30s, early 40s or beyond that we like it. But there's kids, and there's new kids every year. And the 3-year-old, or the 6-year-old now, that was 3 years ago, was too young to play Sword and Shield, was too young to probably think of a Nintendo Switch or hold a controller in his or her, that individual's hand. But that 3-year-old now, that's going to be turning 4, or that 3-year-old that's now 6, right, turning 7, sure. that family doesn't have the system yet. When Pokemon ZA comes out and the cartoon is out, Nintendo Switch has lasted so long. That's who these games sell to. And before people say, oh yeah, it's only going to sell to the audience that owns it, it's not going to sell new systems. No, because even though there is such a thing as market saturation, if something is strong enough, it can last past market saturation. Japan has 125 million people. Nintendo Switch has sold 34 million in Japan. Now, that's not going to say it's going to sell another 90, but that goes to show you it's sold to a quarter of it. That's why every week it's like, dude, another 15,000 people bought Mario Kart 8. Yeah, because, there are new kids now that weren't 7 years ago alive, 6 years ago, 5 years ago alive, or of the age to play it. So the families have incentive to buy it because the system is still healthy, it's still vibrant, the ecosystem is still talked about, played about. Like PlayStation 2 sold like 54 million in the United States. Nintendo Switch is creeping up on that, 53 million. Is it at the tipping point? Not necessarily. I mean, there's 333 million people in the US. Not to say it's ever going to hit that, but that's a sixth. There's room to sell more. A product can only penetrate a market so well, but the longer a product is along, if it's still being supported and talked about, it keeps it viable and fresh. And that's why Nintendo Switch's sales are going to continue, and it's not going to just be software. The software ratio is going to start to exceed. This last update, Nintendo Switch software to hardware is like an 8.83 to 1. That's the global. But the software to hardware ratio sold in the quarter was like 18 to 1. Huge. Their projection of 13.5 hardware and like 125 million software, that's like 14 to 1. They know it's only going to sell more and more, but they're anticipating new people buying new games, not just the older audience that already owns it buying new games. Anyways, that's all I wanted to contribute on that, because I see it too often. Like, dude, everybody has it. Who's else buying it? Nobody wants one. Buy the new one. If you're a family that wants to get into gaming, all of us are invested. We're already glued in. We probably have multiple Nintendo Switches, and we have them for our husbands, wives, kids, daughters, etc., sons. We bought one for a friend. But a lot of people, their first system, what do I want to get? What are my kids' classmates playing in kindergarten? $500 PS5, $500 Xbox, a $400 Nintendo Switch 2. Oh, this $1,000 iPad. Oh no, this $150 Nintendo Switch Lite that their older brothers and sisters are talking about. Or I can't stress enough. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
the system's still gonna sell. It's still gonna sell.
So just do a quick recap and remind everyone, hey, we have a Q&A session like towards the end of the show.
Coffee. Sorry.
You guys want to super chat and get your questions in. That's how you guys that are watching the live show can get your questions in. We got 0 questions at the moment, which is all right. If we have 0, it is what it is. But I just want to clarify before I try to get Thunderstash's thoughts in on some of this stuff, and Andres Restart and Eric. Specifically, obviously, on like the whole idea of this whole launch window and like the insanity that could be coming because of third-party support. Just to clarify, since we have the man in the room, Paul Gale Network today, or yesterday, whatever, put out a public tweet that he, as he clarified today, more than 2, not 1, more than 2, not an exact number. He's not saying 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, it could be 20 for all we know. We don't know. But more than 2 people in the industry have made him aware of excitement from developers, in particular third-party ones, because he clarified that, hey, these are people that weren't necessarily excited back in 2017 about bringing games during the launch window to Nintendo Switch 2, whenever that launch window is, or however long that launch window is. And kind of inferring potentially maybe AAA, we don't know. Could be indie, could be all of the above. But indications from yet another person, because by the way, Paul Gale is not the first person out there to be like, support from third parties is going to be baller, basically. Tom Henderson was the first. Said it last year. When the thought was the system was coming out this year, by September of this year, we were going to hear about a lot of really big third-party games all being like, and also on Switch 2. And well, Call of Duty is one of them. That's already publicly confirmed. So, just put out there, this is just another person with their own sources saying, and this time specifically in the launch window, could be a lot of big games. A lot of big games coming that aren't Nintendo published. Of course, we already know there'll be Nintendo published ones. That's it. So let's kind of toss that to other people. Unless Paul, did I say that I misspeak?
No, that's accurate. Yeah.
Clickbait.
Clickbait.
I think everything that you said is good.
We don't know shit about the launch window. If you guys are hoping to get like exact games, obviously he's not going to do that.
No.
And I've been careful too on X. I'm liking everything,
Yes,
I'm responding to everything. Like that
yeah.
makes sense. That would be cool.
You're not going to get Nick Pioro. He liked something and gave it away.
No.
Paul Gale,
Half-Life 4.
yeah.
Someone says something. I agree. That would be cool.
Unless one of his little birdies is like literally just in his ear, being like, "Leak it, no." Even then, he still might not do it just to stay consistent. So, just saying that if you come into the show hoping to hear specific third-party games that are going to be in the launch window, I knew that wasn't going to happen. But Paul's connected. So connected that he's being mass reported now by big news websites. So I'm just saying they know that Paul's legit.
I mean, he could be tethered even. Like, he might be plugged into that computer he's typing on.
Shit. He might be a puppet. So, that being said, without another person, a friend of the channel, having their own people building up hype for the launch window, how are you guys feeling about this launch window with the third parties? You want to go next, Andres? I see you over there. You're like, you keep getting the fingers all over the place. No? You don't want to tell you?
I just want to get that Switch 2 teaser.
Well, no shit. I think that's all we all want that.
I just want that teaser to finally happen. I want to
a year from now. Just tease it. Just give it. No, I mean, we're gonna get it by March. It's gonna happen.
So what I need is for it to happen sooner than that. I'm tired of waiting. I want this console in March. I've accepted it coming this holiday. That's obvious, right? It's been obvious for a while. It better come in March.
I've accepted its release in 2025. And based on what Nintendo said, should be teased by the end of March of 2025.
Yeah.
I've accepted because that's a fact. Or I shouldn't say releasing in 2025 is technically a fact. It's not.
Desires aside, something that occurred to me, we were having our DM exchange the other day.
I don't know which one.
With the,
I guess we'll.
Yeah. I'm going to talk.
Sorry,
you'll know. When considering that the Switch 1 teaser happened October 20th, and the console released March 3rd, I checked. That was about 19 weeks, right? Which is basically 4.5 months. Not that long. Even if you operate under the assumption that somehow they're going to have a longer reveal to release window, let's say 6, which I think if we're being realistic, it probably is going to be shorter, right? But let's say it is longer. The latest we can expect the console to come out is September. Because Nintendo already told us that by the end of the fiscal year. And that's assuming they reveal the console at the very end of the fiscal year. It's probably going to happen before that point. So I think it's reasonable to expect the console summer at the latest. Based off that logic. And I don't even think summer is a good time to release it. I mean, basically, I think March. It should be March, but maybe it's April or May or some diddly squat like that. But
one thing I'll say about March, and besides obviously the wishful thinking and the wanting it then, and the PhD,
there's the wishful thinking and the wanting.
There's
the
confirmation bias and the
hopium and all
that.
Yeah,
your hopium, copium, confirmation.
What I just explained, though.
Yeah.
That's factual, logic, right? It is a fact that it was 19 weeks between reveal and release for the Switch, right? That teaser trailer to release, right? And it is a fact that we are going to get substantial details about this console before the end of the fiscal year.
Well, at this point, any details would be considered substantial. They can literally give us a code name and say it's launching like they did with NX. NX will be launching in March of 2017. It could literally just be that, which would be kind of disappointing, but it is a detail and it would be a big deal and it would be all the headlines. However, I think because I gotta remember, Nintendo never said what they're going to tell us about the system.
Yeah,
by March of 2020.
I'd be happy with a logo. I would dig a logo.
They literally just said there will be an announcement of some type about. It's like, okay, well, what does that even mean? You can announce anything. You can announce the system won't be coming out until 2026, and that's the announcement. Like that's what I was like. That would suck. But I'm just saying that we technically don't know that it's even going to be a proper teaser. I'm just
was that we will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch.
That's what I just
within
said.
this fiscal year. Yeah.
An announcement, and an announcement can be anything.
It could be the that tweet from April where like, hey, this console's coming out.
I'm like, yeah, it's coming out it's coming out summer of 2026. Like, oh, well, shit.
So I mean, if it's that as opposed to a teaser, I mean, we're cooked. But that would be bullshit. That would be bullshit. You don't announce like this is them announcing like what half a year in advance or more that they're going to make
another announcement.
No. I would say that odds are that announcement is going to be something that will literally say announcement in the title on YouTube.
I'm going to tell you something, Andres. I know I'm going to lose this bet, but I want to lose it. We should do a one-chip challenge bet that Nintendo will not drop an actual teaser this fiscal year.
Which side are you on?
I'm on the side that it won't happen. I'm giving him the free win.
What are we
You're giving him the 64% odd. Remember, I told you. I
know. I was about to ask you about that. Like, hey, you said you were rounding. Were you rounding down from 100?
Rounding up.
Oh, my. Again, he's already told us he doesn't know it's going to get revealed by October or middle of October.
But there is I can say it's very close to exactly 64% chance that Nintendo will reveal Nintendo Switch's successor this year. So even though I said there's a possibility that it gets shown off in February or March 30th, there is a 64% chance specifically, almost exactly. I won't tell you how I know this, but I know this, that it will get shown this year.
Okay, you're not bullshitting me right now.
No, this is 100% fact. You know your meme, 75% of the time, I'm 100% correct, right? You know that one? I'm telling you right now, though, not jokingly, there is a 100% chance that there's a 64% chance it gets shown off this year.
So it's bullshit.
No. I'm saying not jokingly. It is just under exactly 2/3 that it will be shown off.
But what's
I'm buying.
leading you to 64%?
There's a reason, but
there's a reason he can't give, is what he's saying. So he does know something, but there's no he can't actually give any details on anything.
You could speculate. Oh, maybe this many developers, and then here's one. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say this.
More than 2, so there's 3, and 2 said this year. Got it.
Of the developers, what percentage of those developers could be it? Of the games of the sales projection, what percentage of that, of days of that,
what are we wagering?
Flipped everything on its head. From I'm just speculating to actually this is legit. There's a 2/3 chance it's being revealed in 2024. And
what are we wagering?
That's
the wager was doing the hot chip challenge on live stream.
What's a hot chip?
Oh my!
The one chip
you
challenge.
like the world's hottest chip, like super duper spicy.
Yeah. Like, are we eating nachos?
No. Oh my! He does not know the one chip challenge. Google it. Oh my god!
Google one chip challenge.
You Google the one chip challenge. This isn't even new. This has been around a while.
Yeah.
One chip.
People do it. They cry.
I've done it. I'm basically handed you the dub because Eric had to do it and I didn't have to do it on a live stream. So I'm basically causing myself pain for all of your guys' entertainment. Just to hedge a bet that on the off chance Nintendo is going to be a little bit of a.
So what is it? Just a really spicy potato chip?
Yes.
Well,
that's an understatement.
Tortilla chip, but yes,
I haven't had it, and I love spicy. I'm tempted, but
the only reason
I would cry too.
It has things in it like you can't drink. You have to it's got a list you're trying to have.
I don't think it's a good deal for me.
Yeah. Oh, you're not. See, I figured you'd take it because you get the free dub.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. What do I get out of it?
You get to watch me get tortured.
Send your buddy to the hospital.
Contrary to popular belief, that provides me zero enjoyment.
Oh, you don't enjoy me being tortured.
No.
It's not like actual torture. I'm not gonna
Listen. I don't enjoy your pain, but I also don't enjoy your suffering. Like I'm just neutral.
Do you enjoy his pleasure?
No. Like I
So
just
what he's admitting right now is he doesn't enjoy me. He doesn't actually like me in any possible way. Nothing's
that's not what
enjoyable.
I'm saying. I'm just
Doesn't
saying
enjoy
like
my good times. Doesn't enjoy my low times. He doesn't think I'm entertaining because the whole point of this was to be entertaining.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
no. All I'm saying is just like from a logical perspective. If I have nothing to gain, why risk
We have the
losing at
same
all?
game. It's the same game.
No, I have nothing to gain because I don't enjoy your pain.
Well, if you're wrong, you can argue there's a gain in having a very entertaining live stream on your channel, which might raise you some money.
That is the
I-
positive.
I
Yeah.
That
guess-
is a
I mean,
positive.
I guess.
I don't want to see you go to the hospital.
I'm not going to go to the hospital. I'll be
Yeah,
fine.
you never know, man. You never
No,
know how your
that-
body's
that
going to
chip,
react to that
bro.
one chip.
Dude, I did.
Does that chip have any shrimp in it?
Multiple trips down to Bomb Highway. I've done the last dab. I
World's hottest
literally
chocolate.
took a bite out of a Carolina Reaper and survived. I will be okay. Does it hurt? Is it painful? Will I be eating more chocolate and milk than I've ever had in my entire life? Probably.
Honestly,
But
I'll
I'll be all right.
really not
I'll be all right.
terrible.
And he handles better than me with spice.
The only reason why it got me was because one, I hadn't eaten anything, and two, it was stale.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a full belly
So
when I do
was-
this thing, and I'm gonna have my
That's the
ice cold
only reason
beers
why-
ready. It'll be good.
That's the only reason why it got me.
I will wash it down with a cold beer and a shot of Don Julio. Be all good.
Oh, that'll be entertaining then.
Yeah, it'll be
yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah,
That's the whole point for me. It's entertainment. If I lose,
this is a good deal.
but well, see now he's thinking it's all a good deal for me because I'm the one taking the side that's probably gonna have to do it.
Steve thinks it's
How
a
could you
great
just
deal.
wanna
on
do
you.
it?
Maybe he should take
No,
it.
no. I have to earn doing it. I'm not just like doing it to do it. I'm not that insane. If I wanted to just do it, I would just make a live stream. Hey, come watch me do the one chip challenge after licking the Switch cartridge. You know, I don't know if that's a really good angle for it. Maybe I got to blend a Switch cartridge.
Switch
Put it in the
cartridge
smoothie.
ice cream.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Anyways, no.
buddy.
This is
All right, so I
dangerous.
tried to convince Andres he's not biting. All right, it's fine.
Nope, not falling for it.
It's fine. Yeah, I tried.
Listen, even if I know I'm gonna win, it doesn't make any sense for me to risk losing. I don't want to win. There's nothing to win. I mean, I guess there's a W. I like W's in general, but like it's not even the fun game.
Gloating rights.
Over what? Over
That I'm
something I already know you don't believe in?
I actually have started to think Nintendo's not actually going to give us a real TV.
Yeah, I'm not even.
You?
I'm not even gonna humor you
All right, it's fine.
because that's bullshit.
But it's not. I actually
It
don't.
is. Listen, it's one thing to have doubts, but your doubts aren't what you truly believe. Your doubts are rooted in fear and concern that you will have to wait months before getting anything interesting to talk about.
No, I have some reasons, but I haven't told you those reasons. But
That's
it's
okay.
besides the point. My reasons are not as good as Paul Gale's reason of a 64% chance. Exactly.
Well, what are the reasons?
100%
Then?
chance of a reveal of Switch
What are the
2
reasons?
this year?
Why do you think the Switch 2 is not even getting revealed until after the fiscal year?
Not revealed till after.
That's what he's wagering.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He said
That's what he's not. That's
Calendar
what
year.
he's wagering.
Yeah,
He's
I was wagering
wagering.
that it's literally just an announcement of a future announcement,
Oh,
basically. Or they could even say, "Oh, a release date," but that's still not that's not.
Bro, listen. It'd be one thing to have a debate or bet on if Nintendo's going to provide a teaser trailer in this calendar year, but you're not even doing
Eric's
that.
like, "I'm out of here. This shit."
Bullshit is what it is.
See, if I had done this bet with Eric, he probably would have
Listen.
already taken it by now. But
Listen,
it's not as fun. It's
Alright,
not as fun if I
on.
took it with Eric.
where the flip is it?
Well, yeah, he still do it, and everything benefits me. I'm trying to make sure, hey, if I actually am wrong or am right or whatever it is, somebody else actually benefits. It's not just me.
Probably actually ask you for break off part of your chips.
Yeah, you probably fucking would just because you want to try a non-stale one. Oh god.
I want to share this. Real
All right,
quick.
so I tried. All right.
Yeah, let me
This
share
is
this.
what
real
happened.
quick.
I can't get Andres on any challenges or any bets. It's fine.
No, I'm really
Um,
riled up.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Let me share you this. Share
I'm
this.
trying
real
to be.
quick.
I'm trying to provide entertainment to the people, and I just got shut the hell down. You're sharing something. I don't know what you're
Yes, let me share it. It's not anything explicit.
sharing. Okay, I'm gonna say right now. I don't know what this is, but it looks spicy.
No, it's nothing spicy. I just read it. It's nothing crazy. It's just when Nintendo announced something
I
about the
know.
Switch 2.
Yeah, I
But
know.
they say we will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. So,
That's exactly what you just read off.
Right.
It says. This has been in like 30 of my videos.
I do not think that there. I know this is nothing crazy. I just felt like it's just for the sake of conversation, just good to have the imagery up there.
Sure.
I don't think there is a snowball's hell and chance that when they say announcement, it's just going to be another tweet in March.
All right.
There's no way.
Let me.
There's no way.
I'm gonna modify this bet. What terms would you accept for this bet that would benefit you?
I don't want to make this bet.
See, look at this, guys. I could be like, look, if you're right, I pay you $2,000, and he'd be like, well, yeah, but if I'm wrong,
Listen, why you want me to make a bet on something that I'm not committed to, and I don't even think you're committed to?
well, I would take the side that you.
How about we wait until we're actually both passionate about something?
This is what I'm saying. I basically just said I'll give you $2,000. You still won't take it. So all right,
No, because
Moving
it's
on.
bullshit.
Thunderstash. What do you think of this whole launch window situation? Are you getting excited? He's like, I'm so lost at what are you talking about, New York?
The launch window situation.
Yeah.
Yes, I meant a snowball's hells and chance. I don't think there's even a snowball's hells and chance that announcement is going to be an announcement. Like it's not going to be another tweet.
All right, we're moving on. Thunderstash. What are your thoughts on this whole launch window stuff?
As far as the games,
Yeah.
third party,
Yeah.
yeah, I got a list here. Some of these I've said before on other podcasts, but maybe some I haven't. I think we're gonna see Capcom really come out and represent. big time.
Capcom.
Oh God.
Few
By the way,
titles.
he's speculating on titles that can come out. Just clarify.
Yeah.
As far as I know, Thunderstash is not an insider, or maybe you are.
Resident Evil. We're going to see representation there. Street Fighter. I expect Street Fighter 6. Why would they not? I mean, think about it, guys. Paul mentioned it earlier too. The sales of Ultra Street Fighter 2. They'd be crazy to not have that at launch. That will be there at launch. And we're going to see Monster Hunter. I obviously I don't know. None of us know. I mean, I want to speak for everyone. Maybe Paul knows, but Monster Hunter Wilds, as far as whether that can run, will it be able to run on Switch 2? I hope it can. I expect Monster Hunter, though, definitely to be represented on Switch within that launch window. Ubisoft is usually a company that no matter who the console manufacturer is, they're there at launch with a lot of games. Like you guys know that it's been going on for decades now. And I think Capcom is going to do something similar as far as that representation goes, but for Switch 2. Obviously, I expect Ubisoft to be there in some form, probably with latest Assassin's Creed. Elden Ring, I expect that 100%. Again, why not? A complete edition makes total sense. Metaphor ReFantazio. I have that pre-ordered on PS5. I expect to see that. I expect Persona. Reload. Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy. I 100% expect this. I would be shocked if we don't get the Remake Trilogy. Completely shocked. Especially considering the sales numbers for the Remake Trilogy. Square has been pretty open. They haven't gave specific numbers, but they've been open that it hasn't sold as many units as they would have liked it. Now, granted, Square's been saying that about pretty much all their video game releases in the last few years. So I don't know what's going on there internally with their sales projections, but you can make up for that on the Switch. Diablo 4 is another one I could see coming out on Switch too. I think that makes a ton of sense, especially with all the expansions that are now out or coming out. There's an expansion coming out on Game Pass later this year. I got one that's funny that it's just crazy to think about. But I think we're going to get Grand Theft Auto 5 ported one more time, but to Switch 2. It just makes too much sense.
Buddy.
It's almost comical at this point. We got the GTA trilogy. I think GTA 5 honestly does make a lot of sense, though, to come to Switch 2. And I think we'll also get Red Dead Redemption 2. Because we got Red Dead Redemption. It's sold well from what I've gathered. I do think we'll get Red Dead 2, though, and it's going to run at 60 frames per second. I know it doesn't on PS5 and Xbox Series, but that's only because they haven't done anything with it. They haven't boosted it. Rockstar hasn't touched it since it came out on PS4 and Xbox One. I would not be surprised to see Cyberpunk at all. And then last one, which again, this is a series that is just perfect for Nintendo. It's easy money. I've never understood from the first time I saw this game when I picked up my pre-order at Toys R Us back in the day on PS2 is Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
Easy money. Look, like, okay, we're all grown men and we play Nintendo, right? Nintendo's not just for kids anymore. Like it, used to be said. But kids grow up playing Nintendo. They do. Kids grow up watching Disney. Those things have not changed. This is a match made in heaven. They can sell so many copies of Kingdom Hearts. And of course, guys, I'm not counting Kingdom Hearts Cloud. We can't count the Cloud game. We're talking physical, native, running on the Switch too. It makes total sense. And maybe we get Kingdom Hearts 4 too. If it can run on Switch too. I'm confident we get 1, 2, and 3. Easy money. As far as these games in the launch window, I'm still thinking, and I've always thought this, is that I really do think Switch was supposed to come out in 2024. I do believe that it was delayed internally. Reasons, I don't think the reasons really matter. All I'm saying is I think that developers have been working on games for Switch 2 for some time. And I think the fact that it is coming out later than what was probably originally expected means we're going to have, and I really believe this is going to be the biggest launch. It's going to be the best launch lineup of any Nintendo console ever. I really believe that, and I don't believe it just today. I believe this for a long time. That's just
saying that there's greater than a snowball's chance in hell that this lineup will be better than the Switch 1 lineup in 2017?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Go
100%.
figure. Go figure.
Yeah, I'm expecting the best launch lineup ever.
Look at how Nintendo has even said we're working on a situation to combat scalpers by releasing enough platforms at launch and the window beyond. Why do you think they have confidence? Because third parties are speaking to them in confidence. Because they've had access to and they're making games in confidence.
Paul just keeps adding to the pile. I love this. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Eric, you got anything to add? We got to talk Echoes of Wisdom, man.
Yeah, no, the one thing that I would just love to have happen, and I know it's probably not going to happen because it's a Monday, but just have it released on freaking Mario Day.
Yeah.
just because.
Mar-E-O. Sorry.
Hold on, let me see.
That would be a Monday, right?
March 7th is a Friday.
Yeah.
And the 10th is a Monday.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know if it'll happen, but
They could say, you know what? Buck tradition. Monday it is.
exactly, just for the fun of
Hey,
it.
don't they release games on Thursday now? So it's coming on a Thursday.
The biggest release window comes on the biggest day for Mario. There you go.